Shit. Real life. To make these videos really for y'all, you know what I'm saying? These lives. I love going live. It just helps me because I don't have to fucking record on my fucking phone, you know what I'm saying? Shit. We got a hotspot on our tablet here, so it's like fucking 4:30 in the morning. So the rest of this fucking spliff is some Cakeberry CBD by fucking Flow Gardens. You know high grade CBD, you know what I'm saying? The 420 fucking pack. That I bought. We just also smoked some of if you see the THC Club on Highway 6. Highway 6 in Richmond area. Between Highway 6 and Richmond and West Park. Hooked me up with this great indica. The grape Skittles. Nice indica for this late night. So I'm just really about to chill, go back home or see if I can watch the Rob Marley movie before everybody wakes up. If they wake up and I'm off tomorrow. I'll take that day off. It's just kind of crazy as fuck right now, man. I just want to update y'all on my life, really. Not really update y'all, but just have somebody to talk to. So I don't have a therapist yet. That makes me tell a lot of things. Like, I've been telling y'all I'm a transgender person, for a while, but y'all don't really believe me and shit. And, it's, to me, it's getting more serious. Because the more repressed, the more I have, autogonophilic tendencies or stereotypically, negative looking, whatever it's called. I get more into it, but because I suppress more, it's it becomes more a fetishistic sexual thing than a, gender thing because of the fact that gender and sexuality are so intertwined, even socially. And so if you don't feel like a woman, you can have sex with partners because they're not attracted to you as a woman, and so it's weird. So you really kind of feel this inadequacy, in the sense of it's not actually really you feel an inadequacy, but that comes afterward once you are aware of it. But really, it's really frustrating. The feeling is really just once you realize, oh, this is so frustrating. And it is. It's frustrating, and you feel an inadequacy, and you feel so eager. You feel so desperate to fucking get that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it makes cross dressing and shit less affirming and more of a gratifying thing sexually. Because you're not having sex with partners. You're having sex with yourself, and so because of masturbation. Because so then, you know what I'm saying? It makes things really awkward and shit. And those become affirming, but you're not really getting really affirmation from people. And so that's the reason why it gets weird. And then you could come up in your own head and have all these ideas, but you're really living your life as a guy, and you don't look like a trans person at all. Because of suppression and shit. And then it's just weird because you have all these blockages and shit that you don't know how to open up freely to, to express your womanhood and shit. And it's just really weird. You know? It gets really weird really quickly. But, man, that's got me fucking stoned. I felt like it's CBD. And I mean, chill. I don't know. I feel more it's a hybrid, though. I don't really feel super. At first, the grape Skittles was this is shit, man. And at the end of the blunt, I was like, oh my god, this hotel was kind of hit, but I ain't gonna. Yeah, I was hitting. You know, I learned how to smoke actually now. I mean, I heard about this before, but I didn't really care about it. But now I have to do that because like I had the smoker off and I can't stand that shit. Afro's growing out. Um, Take way more air in, all the way past the throat, into deep into the lungs. And exhale the whole thing out. That's why you have to smoke. I have to smoke now because like I used to smoke like more like this, like you know. I wouldn't take it like deep into my lungs, and now I realize I have to do that shit because like it ruins my throat. That's why my throat sounds so raspy and shit. But it sounds burned up and shit. That's why I'm like, what the fuck? That's why I be coughing so fucking hard on the vape cart. Like, the vape carts for me, it's the terps. They just irritate my throat so fucking much, bro. I swear to God, like, I be coughing up a fucking lung. But I realize it's because, like, that shit. But I'm not doing that shit no more. I'm gonna have to, like, take three, like, just, like, small little sips and shit, and then, like, inhale a lot of air. You want to get past all that shit. And for some reason, it gets me high. I feel like taking a deep breath like that shit also just makes me feel more like chill, relaxes. That's a good deep breath, you know. Like people don't know that deep breath sometimes just be itself, and then like you know, so it just feels like I feel like I get higher off that shit. I'm just like, yeah. There. I hate that I had to put some grabber in that shit. I just use the fucking like tobacco from this bitch. Guard roll. It's that new Emerald fucking joint. Emerald, Ethereal fucking raws. I love these cells. They burn slow as fuck though. That's the craziest shit. They burn so fucking slow. Like it's crazy to me. Only I don't like about paper though, I use these hoes. They do go out though a lot when it's windy, which is okay. I'm not gonna get angry at that because it's better than your paper just keep on burning hard as fuck and flaking off and shit, you know. But these hoes, them hoes, like when I was in the hand when the fan was on, this motherfucker would like go out just all the fucking time. I have to keep on lighting that bitch. I hated that shit. I hated that shit with a passion. That shit just keep on. That's why my homie one time was like, cut the fan off, bro. And it was hot though. I was like, damn, bro. Why? He was like, bro, just cut the fan off. And yeah, I didn't feel it though like that. Cause I'm like, you know what I mean? We circle jerking out fucking, you know what I'm saying, a joint and shit or whatever the fuck. I just can't put that right now. He's like, you already know straight up. What the fuck? You know what I mean? That shit going. It's not gonna be just like, yeah, you know, pass this right. Oh shit, my bad, bro. Yeah. Like, hey, can I get that? I'm ready. I'm telling you, man, I already fucking get that. I be interrupting my fucking shit. I be like, can I get that? It's just weird right now in my life. Like, I also feel like maybe because of all that solar eclipse shit she was right. So everything's influenced by solar eclipse. I'm like, it's Ghetto None was saying that, and Ghetto None was saying like, it hasn't been right since the solar eclipse. I'm like, dead ass. Dead ass, bro. Like, ever since the solar eclipse, it has been kind of weird. Because I've been feeling it, though. You know? I need a new channel. I feel like I need a whole new channel. This channel is not really... I feel like I need new channels that are, like, gonna actually, like... be more specific on certain things and shit. But I just never had enough stability. That's the real reason why. I never had real stability in the space to really create, you know. But whatever. That's why I have this type of shit. If I have this type of, I don't even know, like, I don't like, I realize, like, weed reviews are for sales. You know? Like, weed reviews are for, like, sales. So basically, I think that's what he was working in, like, Smoke Illegal. I think he was working in sales. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah, he's like, I didn't even fucking go in because some shit happened and they fired me. I'm like, nigga, duh, nigga, I was in sales too, nigga. I told them I couldn't go in and shit. They fucking fired me, bro. Like, what the fuck? They were like, we can't continue on with you if you can't come in tomorrow. Like, what the fuck? They will fucking fire you. They ask for that because I'm a commitment. Because they're just hustlers and they teach you how to hustle. And he became an ambassador for JK Distro and shit. I think that's his job now, basically, because he smokes every fucking day. He videos every time. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, who smokes that much weed, bro? Who has that much weed just to smoke? Like, what the fuck? What normal person does that shit? That shit weird. Nah, they just giving him product and shit. Maybe at a, like, great discount or some shit. And he just, like, so he had, like, for half the price. So maybe, for me, I spent, like, $200 and shit. Probably makes $50, but then because of the YouTube channel and shit. Because I make no money on this YouTube channel and shit. Yeah, but you got endorsements and shit. You know, like people pay you to make YouTube videos. You can go online and you get paid to try somebody's product and shit and make a YouTube video. But they're not gonna really let you do that shit if you're not like anybody. There's gonna be like requirements that you gotta have fucking like this many subscribers and shit. Da 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 da. And it's like, of course, you have to be in that field and whatever, right? Like tech or some shit or like music or some shit. You can't just be like into. You can just like do whatever the fuck. And so that's a lot of the problems of my problems and shit too. I never had really any aim. It's been in a sphere of shit, but I've never had any real aim. That's been kind of the problem. I found my problems too. Anyways, I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Shit. But yeah, right now, hell nah. Hell nah. That's too much, bro. Fuck no. Come on, baby. Are you serious? Damn. Well, I guess the guys it was not fading. I had a feeling that shit was gonna happen, but I was like, nah, bro, that's good, bro. Cause that shit was like lit, and that's the worst. Come on, baby, work with me, baby. I'm gonna keep it on lit now, so yeah, because that shit, my fucking lighter, fucking, I hate that shit happens. The goddamn clipper lighter just came out with fucking like it was like a nice fat flame, and the next thing you know, fucking like that shit just like small as fuck. Like what the fuck? I hate when bigs do that shit too. Yeah, yeah, life is weird as fuck right now for me too. Like my father just died, so like I'm still trying to fucking figure that shit out in my head. But then like before all this shit, you know what I'm saying? That's when I really came out as transgender and shit into myself. Like it was just like I was just like really like, oh man, like I've been planning. I was like, used to just like I was like, okay, I'm gonna get the hotel. I'm gonna cross that shit. But when am I gonna do that shit? I want to like make sure I was good. Everything was, you know what I'm saying, set up and shit. And so like, my mom's house, and I was like, I had a storage unit, and I was like, fuck it, bro. I'm gonna just buy the shit, and then like when I get the hotel, you know what I mean? I'm gonna just do that shit. It took my time, but I did that shit. But in that whole process, there's like a yearning for it. Of course, there's days where, you know what I'm saying, like I actually like, I do what I do without the actual dressing up, like, like kind of like gay club shit, like listening to like certain music that makes you feel a certain way, you feel girly or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Watching movies and TV shows, queer shows and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Those type of things really fucking help me, you know what I'm saying? On those times where I had these feelings and shit, you know what I'm saying? To connect to something because I was suppressing it for my survival, also. You know what I'm saying? Oh. No. Let's see if she got me. Let's see if she got me. Oh no. Come on, babe. Come on. One more try. One more. Oh, a little bit. Oh, you got it, baby. Oh, yeah. Don't worry with him. Like high school, you used to work all up to the end. I stopped smoking that shit to the end when I was in high school and shit. I mean, I was like, I got a little older. Like, really was like 2022. Smoking legal really was taking off. Yeah, no, I stopped doing that shit. Because it gets all like jaggedy and weird. Because for me, I don't know, whenever my joints, I got laid some airflow at the end because for some reason it just never smokes. It was like perfectly. It was weird because like when I was younger, I used to roll. I actually rolled the opposite, you know. Anyway, so talk for a little bit. Probably not gonna watch the Bob Marley movie tonight because it's almost 5 o'clock in the morning. Anyways, I don't have work tomorrow. I'm at my mom's house right now because everybody's and my cousins are still there and shit. My grandma's there. People are still coming over and shit and mourning her. I don't know how long she's gonna be like mourning and shit and just being shocked and shit. We're not gonna be like talking about shit. But like tomorrow's gonna be really fucking awkward because I don't know what to fucking do or say shit. I'm gonna be in the house and I don't know if I want to be there. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily know if I want to be there. Yeah, I don't really like my family like that. You know, I really don't like my family like that. I'm gonna want to smoke my weed for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck, you know? Like, that's why I love having my hotel because I could just really just wake up and do whatever the fuck I want to do, like, without any fucking, you know what I mean? I have my own place. Like, I can just wake up and be like, all right, shit, I'm gonna jack off today, and then shower, and then I can like play with myself, like, you know what I'm saying? Like after, like, you know, I do a whole, I can like, you know, shave and shower. You know what I mean? Have a whole, put the music on and shit. Have a whole sissy like dancing in the shower. And, you know what I'm saying? Have a whole sissy fucking like basically sissy cross dressing is like or sissy hypnosis or whatever the fuck, like all that type of shit. Like I've been getting more into that shit, but it's like and like like the sexual inferiority that I feel towards women and shit has like really made me feel like I don't know how to explain it. It's made me feel some type of way, and I like, and it's like it's because I look at women. I realize that right now because I'm watching that shit just before I'm doing that shit. I was smoking the first book was fucking like I put into the con before I had this like I don't know how to explain this shit. It's like before I had this thought process, like my shit's always like I've been watching like Harley Quinn, right? The Harley Quinn show, and this shit's been like elevating, just like Harley Quinn. And like I don't know if you ever watched it, I don't want to spoil that shit. But there's one part in the fucking show where like Poison Ivy tells like Harley Quinn, and she's like, "You evolved," and she's like, "No, I haven't. What the fuck? I'm still Harley Quinn. I still fucking do all this shit." You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, exactly, bro. Like I felt that shit, like in myself, like you know what I'm saying. I felt like I've evolved so much sometimes to the point where it's like this shit's different now. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's compacting into one, but not in a like non-consensual way. It's not weird. It's not like you know. It's really not as weird as you actually think about it when you like I don't know when you just be yourself about it. You know what I mean? Instead of being like oh shit, people gonna think about this with me or that way or this is gonna be hard. Like you know, it's like I'm really just holding on to like the past and shit. You know. And it's like that's what I realized I've been doing this shit, you know? And it's like I just don't know anywhere. Like I really just don't give a fuck anymore to do that shit. Like what's the point? Like it's weird. It's almost kinda like I do that shit just to like act like I'm smart, act like I'm better than people and shit, but like I don't wanna do that shit anymore. You know? Like I just don't wanna do this shit anymore. What was I about to say? I just feel like also like right now when it comes to like I said the whole inferiority shit with the women, I just feel like when it comes to that shit, like it comes from the conscious community with my past. Like I said, like growing up in high school, like growing up Catholic and being very Catholic, like being like ordained for the you know what I mean? Like there's some like real shit. Like there's like some Rome. There's I forgot all the shit. There's like the archdiocese and shit, and then like it goes all the way down to like churches and shit. It's like a real organization and shit. Organized religion is real organized religion. And so like motherfuckers be coming from Rome to like ordain you, and you get there's levels to this shit. You don't just like going to Catholic church like. That shit's like an organization, bro. You literally have to be like ordained to go in that bitch. You can't just really be like, I'm gonna just go to Catholic church, bro. I swear to God, you can't. Trust me. I bring motherfuckers in there, those niggas and shit. Like it's like you can't just be in there. You have to know the culture and customs. It's very strict and shit. It's like, I grew up Catholic and shit. And so, like, when I got older and shit, that's when I got into Rastafarianism and shit and converted to Rastafarianism. And I was Rastafarian, like, I would say religion wise, for probably, like, for me, when I was smoking the herb and shit, that's when I came out as a Rastafarian. Like, probably, like, junior year of high school and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, junior year of high school is when that shit happened. I came out as a Rastafarian and shit. And then like I started Rastafarian like when I was like in my freshman year of high school. I still was for a while, you know what I'm saying? Probably for like the rest of my freshman year, but like after my freshman year, I wasn't really so much in the religious aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like in religious doctrine wise, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like on a Christian level, because I started watching more conscious things about and it led me to the black conscious community or whatever the fuck, and that shit had me fucked up, like, and I'm not gonna lie, it had me fucked up. I ain't gonna, it had me fucked up. It had me fucked up, but it also taught me so much. That's just true. But it did have me fucked up in a sense, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't see this shit. But at the same time, there's so many truths. It's just how you want to take it. But like, what fucked me up was like at that evolution was more like um that evolution was more like, okay, like I didn't believe that Haile Selassie was God. I believed that everybody was God. You know what I'm saying? And they control their own life. You could become king of their own. You know what I'm saying? Their own life, queen of their own life and shit. And you know what I'm saying? And so that's what kind of evolved to that. And then once I got into more ancient shit, like when I was in the Kemet or ancient Egypt, religion and things like that, and different gods, and then primordial, before we have this like one god religion, most people, come from, more of a paganistic, saying type of setting and whatnot, and so I got into that, and that got me into these light beings, you know what I'm saying? Like light beings in the sense of like everything that works in this realm that creates light. Light bounces off each other. That's how we're living in the physical realm. We can see everything. That's what, light basically is for this realm, you know what I'm saying? Because we have different like dimensions and whatnot, whatever. But anyways, so two people came in, two people left. That's funny. I'm gonna start telling them to hit the like button next time they come in here, because like I have two people come in and then two people leave. That's crazy. At the same time too. Anyways, so it's probably because they probably want to say something. I don't even see. Let me see. Put the live chat on. Put the live chat on. Top chat. I don't see a live chat. Let me see. What's this? Start poll. What's the poll? What's the poll? Are you extra community? Okay. But anyway, I don't even know. But yeah, anyways, just so this is a video. So yeah, there's like levels to that shit or whatever the fuck. But let's not get too deep into it. But yeah, so I got into more like that type of thing and that light realm type of mentality, right? Or the living world life, right? Mentality teaches you, women and men creates a child, and that's like life. You know what I'm saying? So it teaches you yin and yang. You're all about duality, night and days. You know what I'm saying? Unhealthy, healthy, alkalized, acidic. You know what I'm saying? Toxic. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck. I don't know the opposite of what the fuck. Untoxic or some of this shit. Functional, dysfunctional. You learn all these like polarities and shit of life. And and how they equalize together and create reactions to create something else. So you're like a spiritual science of like 1+1=3, because one person plus another person can make 3 people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if that makes sense, it's a weird like whole thing, but yeah. So so I got into the whole like God and goddess mentality, and I started worshiping man in the flesh of God and woman in the flesh of goddess. But then, like, you get into the occult, When you get into, I got into where the cult of the occult is actually just even more primordial than that. You know, at least more before ancient Egypt and before the tribals, before all that. And so you go into that type of spirituality, consciousness, and you know, that taught me like the goddess aspect, that everything equals out to the zero, which is the goddess aspect, or the mother aspect, right? Because the mom bears the children, right? Which turns into a man or a woman. You know what I mean? So you're in the goddess aspect, and so then you start worshiping the goddess, and so you get into this androgyny. You know what I'm saying? Of either man or woman. And so that's what kind of like led me to like intrigue me more to the transgender aspect. And I never understood why the spiritual community or the conscious community or whatever you want to call it, whatever the fuck, didn't ever accept like homosexuality. It was always like, oh, they don't understand, they don't respect duality, they don't respect the man and the woman, the god and the goddess and shit. And I feel like they haven't like moved up to that level, you know, into the so-called occult world or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, you know, what the fuck, like, and I gravitated to that shit. And that's what got, by then, that's when I was already kind of like okay with being gay, okay with being gender fluid, okay with all that. And for a while, I left all that shit alone. See, the first time it was like I left it alone because I was very into it. I felt the faith, but then like I was already like not believing like in like, and you know, I felt like everybody was still the god of themselves, but I also felt like at that point I was kicked out or exiled because I had to trust in myself and this humanity and whatever fucking humans because like you know like I was like I'm gay. Felt like that's what I really got. I remember like watching a video and the guy was like, "You're a fucking faggot. You're watching this shit. Like just cut that shit off. What the fuck are you doing here? This is not for you. You're not fucking." He was talking mad shit, and I was just like, I'm fucking gay. I don't give a fuck. Man. I was cutting that shit off. I remember emailing him one time and shit. And he was like, "Yeah, you're cursed, bro. You're fucking fucked up." And I was like, "What the fuck, man? Fuck this guy, bro." You know what I mean? After I fucking thought that shit for a while, and I was like, "Man, fuck that shit, bro. Like, who gives a fuck, bro? Like, who really gives a fuck? Like, who really gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck anymore, bro." And I was reading that shit today, like, it was like Bob Marley quote, like, "Oh, he against gays and shit," and it was like, Bob Marley was talking about, basically, if you don't hit some pussy and shit, you a coward and shit. And I was just like, man, I don't give a fuck about that shit. Like, who the fuck? Like, we live in different times, bro. I'm just like, we live in different times. It's like, who gives a fuck? Like, I'm pansexual. Like, I'm attracted to women. Like, I'd fucking hit some pussy, but I was like, dude, like, bitches are not trying to hit pussy. Bitches are, like, doing a whole spell on you, bro. It's like I'm saying, bitches is really fucking, I put a spell on you. Bitches is really trying to put spells on niggas and shit. I hear y'all motherfuckers really like on some like, oh, where your bitches at? Where the hoes at? They're like, man, fucking, oh, over there, fucking goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Sanderson sisters and shit. You know what I'm saying? The cakers, oh. Like, what the fuck? Like, the fuck out of here, bro. Bitches got cooties and shit. You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck out of here, man. I ain't trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, bitches got demons and shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's just disgusting. It's deplorable. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just supposed to just throw myself like a piece of meat to some fucking hoe because she got a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, nah, bro. But then like people act like, oh, because of that, that's why you're fucked up. That's why you're like autogynephilic or some shit because you have no, you can't access a woman, so you become a woman, have sex with them and shit. Like, it's just weird, bro. Like, people be fucking playing, and some people believe this type of shit. Like, this notion of like this, it's so weird how it's like it's almost like culturalistically deep seated. Like, why the fuck do motherfuckers gotta do this type of shit? Like, I'm gonna fucking buy a love doll and fucking fall in love with this shit because I don't have a girlfriend. Like, my nigga, what the fuck? And I really contemplated that shit myself and shit. And I was like, and I knew I could do that shit too. I probably could do that shit. But I'm gonna tell myself that shit. But I was like, now I'm like, that's just kind of weird as fuck though. Like, on some real shit. Like, that's just weird, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, just chill out, bro. Yeah, I mean, you just beat one off to some fucking porn and shit. Get a porn star you fucking like, fall in love with that bitch. And that's it, bro. Like, fuck. I mean, that's really what motherfuckers used to do back in the fucking day. I don't know what niggas talking about, bro. You know what I mean? That's really what you fucking do. Like, you find a porn star that you fucking fall in love with and shit, and you put that bitch on and shit. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Like, that's it. That's it. Anyways, I'm going to ride a rabbit hole. But yeah, so anyways, that's what I'm saying. Like, so at that time, that's when I moved out of my mom's house and all that shit with my sister and all that shit. And like that's when I was trying to come out as trans too, but like I only came out as gay, and like it was just everybody was just like, "Fuck no, what the fuck?" Hell no. You know, it was just like, "Oh hell no." So I'm like, that's when I'm just like, okay, this just got weird, bro. And I was just like, I came out as gay. I was just coming out as gay because I wanted them to know that like I don't really think I like women like that, bro. Like it's not even like, and I felt that way just because I felt like this is what I look at my life. I was like, yeah, I've literally been having sex with like our sexually romantic relations. I don't say romantic, but just sexual like enticing encounters with boys and shit my entire fucking life. Like literally since I was fucking like in fucking like daycare, preschool and shit. Like literally remember fucking playing penises and shit. That young and shit. Like, and it was just like it always happens every few years and shit. Like I meet somebody and some boy and shit, we become friends and shit, or some shit like that. And then we end up fucking like playing with each other penises and shit. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the older you get, the more you know what I'm saying, like sexually, you know what I'm saying. So you usually end up fucking, sucking dick and taking, taking the ass or some shit like that. So when somebody's gonna get fucked, there's somebody gonna suck. You know what I'm saying? Like eventually. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what's happening. It's become more intense and shit. Like, I'm a grown ass fucking man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've had sex with older fucking dudes. You know what I'm saying? I've had sex with fucking transsexual women and shit. I've had sex with fucking, you know what I'm saying? Younger motherfuckers and shit. I've had sex with people like, what the fuck? Most of them just, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, like, what the fuck? That was how that should be like. But so I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, okay, when it comes to the whole women shit, that's when I was like really into like MGTOW and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like hard as fuck. And I remember like, MGTOW niggas is gay as fuck and shit. And I was like, bro, it's not the same shit. It's like I said, we live in different times. It's like motherfuckers are saying like that shit don't fucking equate, bro. Like that's all motherfuckers are saying, man. Like real shit. And it's like that's what he was talking about. Even him was talking about this shit. I watched about him and that shit before, right before this. And he was talking about some like, fucking the goddess aspect. It's not something that's just men are gonna have to fucking get adjusted to. You know what I'm saying? He said also women are gonna have to find out what that actually means and shit too. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, exactly. That's why motherfuckers don't be understanding that shit. You know, and that's what it's like you define feminist or divine masculine shit. You define feminine or divine masculine and shit. You know what I'm saying? In the physical flesh, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? You know what that is, shit is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, and I don't say the physical. I say physical flesh. I mean like in the fucking like outer, you know what I'm saying, mind or the outer body. You know what I'm saying, not your inner body. You know what I'm saying? What you think of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or how you want to be perceived and shit. It's fucking like I don't know. Anyways, so yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been feeling lately. It's just a lot of that shit, and so when I left that shit, it was like that's what I felt these feelings. And I couldn't express it. All that shit happened with the family and the rejection and shit, and I was just like, okay, whatever the fuck. And so it's never really been kind of cleared up. But anyways, now I'm at that point where it's like, and then what happened like in Austin was really the whole kind of decline. I had a good job, everything was good. It's just I stopped going because I wanted to start cross dressing. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to leave the fucking house because I wasn't ready to come out, of course. But I wanted to, and it led, you know what I mean, because of the gender dysphoria aspect of like not wanting to take the shit off. You know what I'm saying? Of not wanting to go outside and be perceived as this big black fucking monster guy and shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, Especially when you're in the mind or the meditation of like a sissy crossdresser and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you really don't fucking want to be see this shit. You know what I mean? And so it's like that shit's like annoying. You know what I mean? So I always stayed inside. You know what I'm saying? That's why I would like call for work a lot of shit. So I never got my car fixed. Everything was like you go I was fucking up. And that's what happened to a lot of fucking guys and shit. And why they like be like, oh I'm transgender, but then they'd be like, oh I gotta detransition because like life would be like hitting them like, yeah, but you're gonna lose everything, and they realize, oh shit, You know what I'm saying? Fuck no. That's when they just change back, and that's what like everybody's trying to do to you. You know. But it's anyways. It's that's what literally fucking happened to me. Literally, like you got caught. I got caught up on that shit, and then like what made it worse was like, when I finally went to work and shit, and I came in, I was still dressed as me or whatever the fuck. Right? It was like motherfuckers were like, it was just so I felt so uncomfortable that I just like, I couldn't do it. I had to quit. And when I quit, it's just like I had these other jobs that were lined up, but they're just shitty fucking jobs. It was just shitty as fuck. And then like my car broke down, and I had no place to live, and it was like anymore, and it was like fuck. And I couldn't live on the streets. That was a fuck no. And I just ended up just like I don't know, just like quitting the jobs and just like being like fuck it. Let me just take whatever money I have and just go back to Houston and shit and get a job in Houston and shit because you know, I know where I can get a car for cheap because I remember going like, Austin's not a big city, man, and like you being in Houston's a big city, man. And I see people, I see things in A-Leaf, I see car dealerships everywhere, mechanics everywhere. Like in Austin, you don't see that shit like that, bro. Like it was at least like I'm this and that. Like I don't even know right now. Like it's like through right here, just alone where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? Off of Sinai, like that motherfucker literally like got like not 4 or 5, but at least 2 or 3 fucking mechanic shops right here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Alone in my little fucking neighborhood, I got like 3, 4, I think 3 or 4, and there's like 2 right here, right? And then I think there's another one right here, and I think there's another one. But I'm not sure. I can't remember. I think this one's one, but I can't remember. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? Like 3, 4 fucking mechanic shops in this area and shit. Are you fucking serious? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, bro, you know. And then like we go down the street and shit. There's people always selling cars on the street and shit. You know, putting signs and shit. And always selling people always selling cars. There's dealerships everywhere where you can find cars. It's like, but you know, in Austin and shit, it's like nah, like people have money, so it's like that's what it is. It's like the wage gap. Like you're either making good money or with people who make good money, or making money, or companies are making money, whatever. Or you fucking just like you're working for chump change. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of fucked me up. And so that's what kind of changed the situation I'm in right now. So I came back to my mom's side. I came back to A-Leaf, and it's just like after that it was horrible. This place fucking sucks, bro. It's trash. This place is fucking trash, man. I swear to God, it's not even funny. This is fucking trash. I came back to this place and I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, and people say it's steer clear of A-Leaf, and I really see why now. Like, it's not a bad neighborhood, really. It's just a really, like, I don't know how to explain this shit. Like, it's just a poor ass neighborhood. Like, it's all really it is. People just poor as fuck out here. And, like, because they poor as fuck out here, it, like, makes everything awkward as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some real Peter Parker shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Peter Parker. You know, he remember fucking the Spider-Man movie, the first one and shit, when he was like taking out the trash and shit, and then Mary Jane was like arguing with her dad and shit. That nigga was fucking cursing her ass out, man. Like, he was, I was saying, the Slim was just, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck? You're a fucking whore, bitch. You're gonna die like a fucking on the fucking needle, like you're fucking, just like nappy headed whole ass mama and shit. I don't know, man. What the fuck? Like, she was like, I'm just fucking going off for some air, dad. Fuck. Like, I was like, damn, nigga. Like, and he was looking at her like, what the fuck? Like, okay, I don't know. This is weird as fuck. He's like, maybe it's my cancer's scar. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Anyways, yeah, you know. Yeah, I just felt like, you know, at that time it was so real, and then like I had suppressed it all, and then you know what I mean? Like it was always the sex that made me brag with my partner that let me know that, but you know I'm still attracted to women. But it was like I don't know, some guys, males. So that's that, and then there's like the gender thing, like you know what I'm saying. Because I want to suppress all the way, try to become like this real man and shit. Like, and then it was just out there. I tried to just laugh and shit, and it was just not me. Like, I started realizing it's just not me. Like, it's really just not me. You know what I mean? If you're in the chat, give it a like. Anyways, so yeah, you know, my first movie. And came in and stuff. They probably just like scrolling and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like it's early in the morning, they don't know if it's live and shit, who's live on here, they just scrolling and shit. And maybe it's just like random subscribers and shit, like what the fuck? Fucking one and shit. But yeah, that's what I've noticed and shit. It's like, who gives a fuck? Like, I'm at that point where I don't give a fuck anymore. It's like I've been through so much. It's crazy, and it's like now I'm like older, and basically what happened in Austin when with the transition was like just getting to cystic fibrosis, and I already knew all this. I was transgender back in 2020. I knew because when I was homeless in 2020, the first half, when I was homeless living in a tent, I found panties, and that was like part of my underwear. I used to wear fucking panties. And I'm thinking like, why would you wear panties? And it was like because that's the only underwear I could find. And I loved wearing those panties. They were very comfortable. And I never, I don't know. I just, it's like when I was like living in the forest, whatever area, I felt a sense of bliss. You know what I mean? But that's a part of the issue for me. And then it was like, when I came out to myself, so I finally like, okay, like accepted that I have this part of me, like I have this part of me, and I started researching it, the crossdresser side of it, and then like finding other crossdressers was like, oh, there's people that are just like they're crossdressers. You have to accept you're a crossdresser. Like you like having this feminine side and shit, you're expressing that shit, and this is how you express that shit. Like transgender wise, like you like the transformation to change into a girl, or like to look feminine or to look like a female or whatever the fuck, like you know what I'm saying? Like, and that shit was like cool, and it's like everybody has the way they want to do their shit and shit, and then I started like, and that shit just made me fucking like really fucking happy because I didn't feel like, oh, like I felt like I didn't feel alone in these feelings, and there's different ways to express it. You know what I'm saying? You do whatever you want to do. These are different ways or outlets that you can, and it was like, oh shit, cool. But processing essentially became the whole thing. Like the whole transformation became my ideal, you know. Um, but it's like every time I go through the processing, I become like obsessed with like, I think it's a trans thing too. Like you're obsessed with like who she's passable, her nose bridge just like this, and it's not you're not trying to critique. You're just kind of like your mind is on that level because you do that shit with yourself, and so that's what kind of like makes me feel like okay, like that must be like a gender dysphoria thing, like a real gender dysphoria thing, and you're not noticing these shits, and so like that's what I feel like also creates a lot of like turmoil. You know what I'm saying? Because that, and I think there's also right now. I feel like the female side is taking over more. I feel like she's taking over because I feel like she's kind of like actually taking over. Maybe she's not taking over completely. Maybe the male side is still like there working. You know what I'm saying, like up front, but like it's all going towards her. It's all going towards her and the kids. You know what I'm saying? Which is like her and what she wants. What she's gonna create. What she really, you know what I'm saying? What she's gonna create. Put into creation. And I feel like that's what is going on right now because I don't really like want to like do anything with it. I don't really want to. I'm not thinking about getting married and having kids. All I'm thinking about now is like, how am I gonna be a secure adult with my own place to live, a nice career where that's supporting me, and a nice car to drive, and be a transgender woman and not be harassed or killed. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm focused on right now. And that's literally it. Like that's literally all I'm focused on. And that's like my like dream of life. You know what I mean? Everybody has like their life dream. I want to get married and have kids. I'm looking, that's like what I want. And shit. And I'm just like trying to figure out how the fuck to do that now. And I feel like that's, you know what I mean? That's so weird. It's so weird because it's like, and it's like I feel like, yeah, because I feel like the detachment, like I don't feel like a man anymore. because all the things that like I said, in the conscious community, which is like, what a real man is? Because in the black community, we don't have fathers and shit. So like, they have to these are people that are real men. You know what I'm saying? Type shit, teaching you, yeah, this is what the fucking Spanish do. This is what the fucking white man does. This rule and shit. They teach you like politics and how the world works, and what I mean, that type of shit, that type of grit. And so learning from that as a young man, it really helped me feel I feel like I know what a real man is, and I still do, because that's but when you go out into the world, that's kind of the fucking notion. Like, everybody feels that fucking way. Everybody feels that way. Every dumbass, dickhead piece of shit out here feels that fucking way. And you realize, what the fuck, you start to realize, well, you guys complain, say you're a real man, but y'all motherfuckers, everybody has their, own, everybody gonna do what the fuck they want to do. And then so you realize, that's kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And then, that's just a cover up. It's a societal notion and shit to all live by. So it's like, motherfuckers put up a front, and it's lame. And you catch it first with males because when you are male, you see that shit, and you're kind of like, ugh. And then, then there's a certain grace that's exposed, right? It's almost like, I was watching this video, and it was like how guys act when women walk in the barbershop. Like, before that, guys just yelling, oh, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, girl walked in, the girls walked in and shit, and then they're all quiet and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of nonchalant, chilling and shit. Next thing you know, what the fuck? As soon as they leave, and shit. See, I used to be like, what the fuck? Why'd y'all do that shit? I wouldn't even be loud like that. I'd be like, why the fuck y'all do that shit? That's the type of shit I'm talking about. That type of shit. If I would get loud, I would get into the conversation. I wouldn't like when they would stop that shit. And I felt like maybe I'm gang banging too hard on the fucking bitches and shit. You know what I'm saying? You too rough with the women and shit. And I always felt especially when I identified as gay, it was I like that because I was well, when I'm with a guy, he don't, you know what I'm saying? He don't care about how rough he act and shit. You know what I'm saying? But women is more gentle. I never really was attracted to that shit. The gentle aspect of that shit. And that's all I'm not now. You know what I mean? That's funny. You know what I'm saying? Ironic because I like being, I have more of a subsexuality, which I didn't really know. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. Get into that shit later. But yeah, so it's just always been weird like that. It's not I don't like women. It's just that society would make it seem that I don't like women. That's why a lot of gay guys be like, oh, they're bi. I'm like, you're gay now. Bro, I'm bisexual. I'm bisexual. If they are bisexual, I understand that shit. It's just that when you come out as anything other than super straight and shit, and stupid masculine and shit, stereotypes and all that shit, you don't fit in the box and shit, people feel like they can't use you. They can't take advantage of you, and so they act like they can't read you. And so you never get in situations with people, you never get a girlfriend, you never get a wife. And that's the shit I don't like. I don't like the fact that I have to fit in boxes and shit to be around people and shit. That's why I never fucking get to fucking be around nobody. Because, they're always gonna fucking throw shade because it's outside the norm and shit, so they can't read you, you know what I'm saying? So it's they're gonna be attracted, and then you're gonna be free-minded, so you're gonna be yeah, bro, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's they're gonna be they're gonna say something, right? That's for example, they're gonna say a truth, I don't know what it's just called, but something that's absolute. It's an absolute truth. They're gonna say some shit, type shit, right? And it's because they're Christian, they're gonna say something, right? It's Christian, but it's just a fact of life, or whatever the fuck. And then you'll agree with them because what they said was true. But then they'll be oh, you're not Christian though. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And then and you'll be no, and then you'll start talking about other shit that's truthful, but that's not their religion and shit, right? And when you go against it, you know what I'm saying? Then they'll try to fucking shit on you and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to say. It's shit like that. It's weird like that, life. And so you realize that shit is when you're just I don't feel like dealing with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I really don't feel like dealing with that type of shit. That shit aggravates me. And so, I get really fucking annoyed and shit when it comes to this type of shit. Real talk. I really don't like that shit. That shit pisses me off. Um, but yeah, so that's why it's like now, I've always felt that way. I always felt like white people always judge me for being big and fucking black and the guy or fucking. I've never understood that shit. And to this day, that's why I just like I don't keep it myself because I know people just. It's like, as an adult, I see how people treat me. It's like it's really just nasty. It's very like. I try to say to myself, but you have to sometimes, these situations. Um, yeah, that's why I really haven't dated and shit, because I really haven't had nobody to be like me, that thinks like me, and that shit sucks. But when you're spiritual, it doesn't suck. So like you get more in love with yourself and shit, but at the same time, like sometimes if you're too in love with yourself, that you feel like, you know what I'm saying, like nobody don't love you or something. It's weird. I don't know. Like, I wish I had a partner, but then at the same time, I don't want to be traditional. I don't want to be traditional at all. Like, I don't even know what that even means. Like, I don't even know what I'm talking about, you know? But, um, trying to think of something else I was trying to say. But, yeah, gender-wise, so what happened in Austin was like when I was cross dressing when I was in Houston, CC cross dressing for sure. And when I went to Austin, I actually wasn't cross dressing well because I was broke as fuck. I started off trying to cross dress and shit. I actually started off trying to be transgender, like trying to show everybody I'm a fucking femme queen or whatever, or butch queen or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Showing I'm a fucking fag. And I couldn't keep up with it. I couldn't keep up. I couldn't keep up the fucking like trying to like sound fucking feminine. I couldn't keep up with fucking like trying to be feminine because that's not really me, But I felt like I had to be really, really for everybody to know that hey, I'm transgender. I feel like I'm transgender. I feel like I want to be called she. I want to be called Abby. I want to be called like what I'm saying. I want to be called like Amy or something. I want to be that's my name. I remember trying to put that shit in, and that shit was not coming back. And I didn't have Amy on my fucking ID yet, and it was just like I felt like everybody was looking at me like, whoa. And they just kept on talking to me and talking to me, and I felt uncomfortable. And I don't even lie to you, for some reason, like, I don't know, I get nervous as fuck. I like get gassy and shit, and like, I want to fart. And I feel like I'm about to fart. And I just look really weird, and I don't know. Like, I feel like when I'm like, that way, like, people just give me all this attention. And then people give me, and there's always like negative attention, and there's like, I don't know what type of attention, and it's just like, it's just weird. It's just a lot of stares. There's a lot of like, what the fuck? You just feel really like, oh my god. And that's what I felt like, you know what I'm saying? I want to go get run into a plasma, and that's why I'm just like, okay, no, like, I don't think I can do this right now. But I did it because of dysphoria. You look at one morning, you're like, oh my god, like I need to fucking like shave my fucking face. I look like a fucking like monster and shit. And you try to doll yourself up to make yourself feel good and shit. And then you go out and then like everybody's just looking at you weird, and then you're just like, what the fuck, bro? Like y'all looking at me weird as fuck. And then you feel like, okay, I know why. It's like, you know what I'm saying? But then like you want them to like respect you, so you like act really girly and shit. But that shit don't even really do nothing. That shit, you don't even feel that way. You be like, what the fuck? And so, I don't know. That's just always been me. And so I'm like, I think I need to be more in tune with that and shit. Instead of trying to like, be what people want me to be and shit. Whatever fuck. That was kind of hard. I didn't know at the time. And I remember that shit. I remember really thinking like, what the fuck? Yeah, there's chasers. Like, there's a lot of weird shit. I don't know. Like, you deal with shade from like the Butch Queen, so they're like, who the fuck this fucking fag think he is? And it's weird because, when you're like an AGP, when you're like, I don't know how to explain it. I would say an AGP or a transmaxer just because of the fact that it's like, when you're a guy, it's just like, you have this like, yeah, I'm just a guy, bro, I'm just a guy, mentality, and then like you some out of nowhere you fucking like are in a complete CC crossdresser or something. You're a crossdresser, drag queen or some shit. It's like that shit like what? motherfucker, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's your femicide. It's just kind of crazy like that. But, yeah, so I'm just like, at that point, because I hadn't crossed this in a while, I had no money and shit. I had money and shit. I got a nice job and shit. I was like, okay, I'm about to do all this shit. And I felt like, okay, like, that's when I was like, I think I really am. I'm ready to, like, be transgender now. I just, you know what I mean? I just need to fucking, like, because I was at my own place. I was like, I'm ready to be transgender. It's just, I just need to get my shit together, or whatever, right? And so that's when I started working. I started working again, but it was like the stress of gender dysphoria and just not knowing what to fucking do at that point. And the fact that you just do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I don't know. I don't even know anymore sometimes. That's what makes it even weird too. I think it's why a lot of HGPs or later life trans women are just kind of like blank. They're not very like vibrant in their like womanhood. They're kind of just like, okay, yeah, I'm existing as trans. You know what I'm saying? It's weird because it's like they don't really know how to feel, but they know they want to feel pretty and beautiful like a woman and be a woman, but they don't know like how to like say that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so distorted with like repression feelings and shit. You know what I mean? The repression fucking what the fuck? I don't know to call that shit on switch. And she put on like it's what's that shit called? I'm fucking Vampire Diaries and shit. Oh damn, what's that shit called? You know what I'm talking about? Oh my gosh. Let me simplify that shit real fast. I got to. In all respects, I gotta find that shit. Let me see what this shit called. The thing is, Vampire Diaries really hide their feelings and shit. This shit's exactly what the fuck that shit be like. Oh god, I told you I'm a vampire. What's that shit called? Uh, damn. When the humanity, there we go. When they can fucking like, yeah, when they can fucking do what's it called, turn off their humanity. There you go. I completely remember soon I saw the fucking show. When they turn off their humanity, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what it feels like when you were fucking trans. Like you repress, you turn off your own like humanity for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you repress that shit. You don't. It's not masculinity. You when you suppress it, then that's when you put on the fucking like the armor of like masculinity or masculine manhood and shit. You know what I'm saying? But like once you've identified that shit, it's like you're like basically saying bye to your manhood, and so your manhood's like gone. And so you're at this point where it's just like there's your woman's side, and then there's suppression. You know what I'm saying? Or you're just like numb, it's dull. It's not like you're neutral, not like you're like you know what I'm saying, like bi-gendered or some shit like that, where you're just neutral gender, like you're like I have no gender, I don't give a fuck about nothing. You know what I'm saying? To like, you know what I'm saying, woman and shit or whatever. It's like no, you're like repressed, and so that's the fucking awkward part. And you know it's repressed because all you want to do is be the woman shit. You don't identify with the man shit at that particular time, and that's how I feel right now. That's why it's like, fuck. And when I get like this, that's when it's like, I want to just jump into the hormones. I want to fucking start, you know what I'm saying? All this shit. And it's just because the fear, like, I'm getting older. You're going to get older. Like, testosterone's taking more of an effect than you think. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to fucking get on it because these things take years to fucking, like, develop. It takes 10 years. I'm going to be like 40. You know what I'm saying? By the time, like, hormones have, like, done what they need to fucking do. That's not that. You know what I mean? You're not gonna live your life as a woman. You're gonna live your life as a fucking trans woman, or even a transvestite for a while. If you just come out and it's like that shit's scary. You just do that shit. Fuck. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm like, no. Like, I need to fucking like figure out my shit. And yeah. That's why it's like the dysphoria is getting more and more. But like my dad being dead too, it's like He never told me I was trans, like, but I told him he knew I was gay, like, and he wasn't approving of that shit. And so now I know, like, my family's not gonna fucking be approved of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So now I have to fucking like be prepared for that shit. And it's like I might lose my fucking family. You know what I mean? I might like I don't know. It's just a lot of weird shit, you know. And so all these things are like going on in my head, but I don't give a fuck because I don't like my family. They don't give a fuck about me. I'm homeless and shit right now. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is. I really don't want to even stay here. But that's why I'm just like, what the fuck right now? I'm at my mom. I'm staying at my mom's house because morning. Me and my cousins are there, But I don't really want to be here. I wish I had my own place like my sister or shit. Just leave my car. Just leave. But I can't. I don't have a place to go. It's fucking crazy. Luckily the weather got better. It was horrible for the past 2 days. God damn. But yeah, so that's why it's like you go hard as fuck with this question. And I already know this. I already know all this shit because I've done so many research. You don't understand just hours and hours just watching YouTube videos of transgender people and their experiences and how they think about it and shit, what their psychologist told them and fucking da 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 da, and comparing. Like you've done enough comparing, or you've done enough like watching people on YouTube being like, oh, I'm transgender, I'm a cross-dresser, I'm cisgender, I'm a trans femi, I'm gonna fucking, hey, actually, you watch enough Finster videos, you know what I'm saying, to be, you know what I mean, to realize, like, okay, Finster even came out this year, Finster came out as transgender, like, it's okay, you know what I mean, and that's why I'm like, you're right, like, it is okay, like, I'm not fucking kidding myself, like, it's okay to do that shit, it's okay to be yourself, and then I realized that shit also because this year, like, throughout this year, I just realized more and more the reason why all this happened. I feel like, what I said before, and often, and the psychic said like, don't go back to this shit, don't go back, go forward, don't go back. And I went back to Houston, and like my life has been shitty ever since then. It's not been satisfactory. Like I'm not gonna hold you. It's been, you know what I mean. I've been tolerating it, but it's not satisfactory at all. Like I am not enjoying this. It's not even like worth it. I don't even feel like, what's Austin. Like even though I ain't gonna lie, like a lot of times, like being in the cold, spraining my ankle and shit, and it was hot as fuck and sticky, and the mosquitoes and shit in my car and shit. Like dead ass though, like I enjoyed every single bit of it because of the scenery. This just being out in that nice scenery, going finding places eventually that are, I'm saying for me, having a good like weed culture, not being too fucking, being more liberal and shit like that. Motherfuckers were, you know what I'm saying, and also having more money, so people just things, and you know what I'm saying, having access to resources. It was just better. Like I felt like it was just better. But over here, it's like what the fuck, and you know, me being trans and shit, like, I felt like that was part of the whole deal. Like coming back to Houston, I should never came back to Houston. I let me go downhill, and I feel like that's what it is. Not being truthful to myself is making me have these like, keeping me down. Not really believing in myself. Never really truly just like believing in myself. You know what I'm saying? Like truly just being like, fuck it. I want to be an artist. I'm gonna stick with this shit. I'm gonna be an artist. I'm gonna be a musician. I'm gonna learn how to actually be a musician. Not just make some music and play with it and be like, okay, actually learn how to make money in this business shit and then do this shit. I'm gonna learn this shit and I'm gonna do this shit. Like I never fucking like actually did that shit. Actually really thought it all the way through. You know. And so that's what it is for me. That's where I fucked up. And this is something that I feel like I have to do because I'm not getting any younger. You know what I'm saying? Testosterone is working, so I'm not in my 20s now, and it's like, I've been taking like birth control pills and shit like that, but I don't want to do that shit anymore. It's not healthy. And this word makes me want to do that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm never gonna buy some more birth control pills, some black collage. But it's like I don't want to do that shit because it's unhealthy. But it's like I feel like I need some type of hormone. I need some type of hormone. I need it. Like I need it. You know what I mean? And that's just what that is. But also at the same time, you know, This whole year, like, I remember starting off. I literally started off work. I remember keeping Jesus Christ. The picture, some lame ass picture. You know, the white, started with the red shirt and the blue fucking jacket or fucking. You know what I'm talking about? Jesus and shit painting, and I put that on my fucking screensaver. Everybody looking at that shit. Oh, he a hardcore Christian. He a Christian. I tried to make them believe I was a good Christian and shit. Like, man, fuck all that shit, man. And now I'm realizing, like, this is why you don't get what you want, because you don't be telling people what you want. You don't demand that shit. You have to fucking take that shit. And it's crazy, you watching shit, right? You watching shit, and I was watching motherfucking what's that shit called? My sister was watching I think my baby's daddy or some shit. The shit was motherfucking Idris Elba and shit. You know what I'm saying? With the fucking daughters and shit like that. I don't know fuck. You know what I'm talking about? And Gabrielle Union and all this shit. So the motherfucker, this scene, right, with the chick from, like, you know what I'm saying, from all those fucking shows and movies, you know what I'm talking about? Tyler Perry shits, but the motherfucker be like, oh yeah, make sure your husband is verified, because he can be fucking, fucking some other bitch, you know what I'm saying? That bitch, you know what I'm saying? I don't know her name. Anyways. So she was fucking sitting here talking to her daughters while some shit. Her and her man were beating up some fucking motherfucker. I guess maybe some gang shit or fuck, some shit like that, right? And then they're like, oh my god, they're beating a grown man in our fucking living room. She's like, bitch, you have to fucking take what you want in this life. And I remember, like, they're trying to basically make it seem like, oh, she's a very cruel mother and shit. But I'm like, bitch, is right as fuck. I'm thinking, like, that's the fucking truth. I don't know what the fuck to say to you. Like, that's life. That's literally that is it. Like, yes, nigga. And that's why I fucked up. And I realized it because that's what I've been doing. So when I was in Houston and I had no money, I was homeless. Like, I just was kissing ass. I was just sucking up to people. You know what I mean? Like, I became like, it's like you become a beggar. And it's like, no, bro. And I started realizing that just the day ago. I'm like, a lot of people from foreign countries, they just want to fucking work. And I realized, because I'm like, they're like, oh, Safar, this motherfucking old ass dude, our job, he's always working and shit. He would stay working. I'm like, yeah, because, like, he's like, he send money home to people and shit. I'm like, nah, I mean, they're the poor and they have no money, and this nigga couldn't even work. He just never had a chance. And now he has a chance to work. He want to work. I'm like, you want to work? You know what I'm saying? But that's their, like, you know what I mean? I never got a chance to even work. I understand how that shit feel like when you want to work and you can't. But, like, bro, that's not how life really is. Especially out here in America. You have to capitalize off of everything. And that's why I'm like, bro, and I started realizing that shit. I was like, man. And that's why I'm realizing now, I never really gave a fuck about money like that. Even to say that shit, even to go that far to be like, I can't believe this is happening to me. But then I felt also that I had to start from the bottom. I feel like I had to start from the bottom and shit. I feel like, I had to basically, you know what I mean? So I realized how much of a beggar I actually became when it comes to shit. And I'm like, come on here, man. Like, I'm not that personality at all. So now it's like I'm at a point right now in my life where I can't even, like, work a regular job and shit anymore. Like, I need to level up. I need to fucking maybe become like a broker or something, something real that's gonna make real money and shit. Not just for the money, but for my fucking, like, evolution tonight. Because, I'm telling you, dealing with you're not gonna talk to people that are fucking stupid as fuck. You're not gonna be like, at work, I'm not fucking, like, I can't read or I can't speak English or some shit. Like, I can't communicate because, you know what I mean? Like, stupid shit. So that's why I'm just like, I'm realizing, like, I need, it's people that are more intelligent that are not, like, all that type of shit. And so I'm just like, I think it's because me coming back to here, me coming back to A-League, me trying to fucking figure this shit out here, it's just like, it's just not it. Like, I don't think I need to move necessarily. I think I just need to fucking, like, level up a little bit, like I did before, you know what I'm saying? And then move, and then once I move, then I can fucking like work on like becoming better and shit. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the best thing I can possibly do right now. But if I can make that big jump, I would probably do that shit too because the money. Like I'm thinking about getting a trade or anything, or my CDL even and shit, and then doing some shit like that, and that's gonna at least give me some big money, so then I can like start my fucking life. You know what I'm saying? I actually have a place to live and all that type of shit. You know? Cause like this shit's lame as fuck. You know? Like, I always want. That's why I made this channel first when I was smoking legal. I wanted to make this shit like some smoking legal shit, but I realized the reason I never panned out is the same shit. Like, I'm not that shit. I thought if I just make YouTube videos, I could be like smoking legal. I wasn't gonna fucking endorsed by fucking goddamn nobody. So I wasn't getting paid. I wasn't giving discounts, none of that shit, free shit, nothing. So it's stupid. That's why I just make this channel what it is. I want it to be now. But also I'm realizing also like I don't give a fuck. Like I don't know, I just don't care anymore. It's like, you know, and I realize like, I know I've done the research so much. I've researched psychologically, I researched it medically. Like I know a lot about this shit to where it's like, okay, now it's like I think I just need to transition now. I think it's time to actually do go for that shit and really do it, you know what I'm saying? And just really do it now. I think I'm at that point where I'm like mentally prepared to like go into this, into transition now. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm mentally prepared for it. It's still hard socially, but I'm getting like mentally like I think I'm prepared for the physical changes. I think I'm prepared for that. What I also think I'm prepared for is like, you know, of course the mental changes, of course. That's the you wouldn't want that. But I think what I'm really prepared for is just the process. You know, like okay, like I'm gonna have to get a therapist. I'm gonna talk to the therapist about this shit. She's gonna sign me off. I'm gonna have to get a doctor to actually fucking pay for this shit. They're gonna give me the fucking hormones. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna go further from there and shit. Like, I'm ready for that shit. I'm ready for like, okay, like we come out and like, okay, like this person's transgender and shit. Like, you know, whatever the fuck ever. Like, I'm prepared, I'm mentally prepared for that shit. So I go to a job where I know they're not gonna fire me for being transgender and shit. And just, who's ever there is gonna have to fucking eat crow. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it. They're gonna have to eat crow. And what inspired me was like a lot of fucking people. Like, there's this lady and shit. I saw fucking McDonald's and shit on fucking Highway 6 and shit. Close by fucking Walnut Bend or whatever the fuck. And you know, I was like, she's transgender. I saw her years ago, and I saw her again. You know, saying I was homeless, and you know, she knew I was transgender just for it because she knew I had the eyebrows and them eyebrows and shit and all this type of shit. Like, what the fuck? You know, like even being homeless, I try to dress feminine. Like, it's like, and then I think I saw her again. She's transferred because they closed that one down. She transferred to one over here in A-Leaf, and I was like, okay, cool. I think I saw her, but I don't know. It was a glance. I didn't want to stare. But yeah, and so I'm like, yeah, she inspired me because she was at McDonald's and shit. And she's transgender. Like, what the fuck? And they just have to eat that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, why don't you have to stop living your life for that shit? And you know, it might suck on that level, but it's like it's still better than like nothing, bro. It's still like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? At least you're fucking like alive and surviving. You're not like, you know, it's not that bad. And that's what makes me feel kind of like it could be worse, bro. And then it also made me realize, also because you're a woman and you're a trans woman, that you might have to take a deduction in life. I might have to fucking like actually get used to actually maybe just being a sex worker. Like I might just have to be a sex worker. Like I like sex, I'm pansexual. I watch porn. I have a lot of different fetishes, or I get kinky. You know what I mean? I like to play different types of play. Like I might as well. I'm into the BDSM scene. Like I might as well. I like rough, very rough, hardcore sex. You know what I mean? I'm very sensual. Like what the fuck? Like I might as well. You know what I mean? I'm a great actor, and I love the theme. You know, I love creating scenes. I even think creating scenes or things like that are like rituals and shit. You know what I'm saying? Rituals, you know, are just like therapeutic sessions or things like that, or mental hypnosis or things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I like all this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's why I'm like, what the fuck? might as well, you know. So that's kind of how I see shit. That's kind of how I see shit. I kind of feel like going to fucking Shifties and buy some donuts from my fucking fam, and just seeing what the fuck. Like, what's up, Nickies? Buy donuts and fucking kolaches, bitch. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna do that shit for them. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not. But yeah, that's all I had to say. Like right now, my evolution right now, I'm fucking feeling. Even spirit, and also spiritually, like I kind of let go of God and shit. Like I really like was like, okay, there is no God. I don't believe in that shit anymore. I was like really not believing. Like when I was watching those like he was like, I'm a Christian. He was like, I throw away that Bible. That Bible had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with your success and shit. Da, 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 da. And I was like, yes, I believe that shit. But like, that's for mortals. I'm a high spiritual being. So like I can't do that shit. My mentality, I'm a mystic man, I'm a spiritual person, I'm a shaman. Like I'm a you get what I'm saying? I can't do that shit. You know what I mean? So my language, the way I understand the world, I have to see it through spiritual, high vibrational eyes. You get what I'm saying? And that's the route for me, so I can actually see what's actually good for me. You can't tell me what's good for me because what you think is good for me is what you think is good, and what you think is good for you. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me, and so that's why it's like I can't do that shit. And that's why I realize I can't be listen to people no more and shit. You know, and people think I'm young as fuck because I look young, and you know what I'm saying, and because I took hormones, I have the genes and shit. But no, I don't give a fuck. You know, people just be like. But anyways, yeah, that's what I think right now. Spiritually, I just feel like I'm kind of getting back in my on my feet. Spiritually, I'm trying to get back in the faith of things, like you know, because like there's no scientific evidence that actually zodiac signs work. But I understand that shit, bitch. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care to like know everything anymore and shit. I just like to focus on my own shit, my own like things and shit. What's going on with me? You know what I'm saying? Also like gender wise, however, like it's not just gender shit. It's like how to explain. It's like it's hard to explain. It really is hard to explain because it's not just gender shit. It's like my life directory right now. Like the way I see things, I just see myself. I don't know, and that's what kind of scares me right there. I guess the most. I really don't know right now, and so I'm trying to find that for myself. But I'm gonna sign off. I think I've been here too long. In case you guys are missing.